Tinoti manheru akanaka muri Zimbabwe. Naudzanasi taikuigerai waMthuli Ncube, Minister of Finance, wachitaura zvawaitaura. Saka takumbirawo nzeve dzenyu, toda kunzwa zvamuchafungawo pamusoro pevidhiyo iri. And then kana uri munyowani kara subscribe, press notification key kuti video redu riende kumberi. And then kuna vasinganzoshona, if you are new here, just press notification key and then you press subscribe button, and then everything is going well. So thank you guys for supporting me up to here where I am. So tokumbira nzeve dzenyu.
Madam Speaker, ma'am, on the 18th of December 2024, Parliament approved the 2025 Government Financial Plan, the national budget running under the theme Building Resilience for Sustained Economic Transformation. Its implication, rather its implementation during the first half of the year was on course despite the fast-changing global environment. Notwithstanding, domestic economic developments are upbeat on account of a better than anticipated agricultural season and improved electricity generation at Kariba Hydropower Station. This, combined with sustained economic stability, has provided a conducive domestic economic environment. Madam Speaker, ma'am, Professor Joseph Stiglitz, a recipient of a Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences, postulates that, I quote, sustained macroeconomic stability is essential for achieving long-term economic development and reducing poverty, and we want to follow that path of sustained macroeconomic stability going forward. A few words about the global and regional economic outlook, Madam Speaker, ma'am. The global economic growth is now projected at 2.8%, down from 3.2%. We made that forecast in October 2024, and things have changed. And this is according to the IMF World Economic Outlook report of April 2025. This downward revision is on account of anticipated increases in trade tariffs and geopolitical tensions in Europe and in the Middle East. Madam Speaker, there is a slide. I hope it can be seen from that far in terms of the numbers. You can see that indeed the growth projection for 2025 is 2.8%. Advanced economies like the US at 1.8%, Euro area 0.8%, Sub-Saharan Africa 3.8%, and Zimbabwe at 6%, China at 4% economic growth for 2025. In Sub-Saharan Africa, economic growth is projected to decline from the initial projection of 4.2% in October 2024 down to 3.8% by year end. The downward revision is attributed to the negative effects of weather shocks, weak global demand, declining commodity prices, and tighter financial conditions. Again, on the screen is additional numbers on pertaining to Sub-Saharan Africa and then also some of the SADC countries. Similarly, GDP growth of the Southern Africa Development Community SADC is projected at 2.8% in 2025. And again, this is a downward revision from the October 24 forecast of 3.3%. And again, you can see how Zimbabwe is juxtaposed against its peers in the region. Botswana with a negative growth rate of 0.4%, which is slightly worse than last year at -3%, or slightly better actually, but still negative. Lesotho 1.5%, for example, Zimbabwe 6%, Tanzania 6%. So those are some of the faster growing countries. Turning on to the domestic economic developments and outlook, Madam Speaker, before I turn to domestic economic developments, let me take this opportunity to brief you on the recent GDP rebasing exercise and the results of the economic census carried out by Zimstat, our statistics bureau. The size of the economy is now approximately 45.7 billion US dollars, up from the earlier estimate of $35.2 billion, and this is a 2024 figure. This implies that both GDP and GNI per capita are now slightly above 3,000 US dollars per capita. Madam Speaker, again, I've got a table that shows all figures for 2023, the new figures for 2023, and then the 2024 old figures and new figures, and we can see this dramatic improvement in the size of our economy, which implies that all along we've been under-measuring or mismeasuring the size of this economy. It's much bigger than we think. As a result, the revenue to GDP ratio declines to around 15% of GDP from historical levels of about 18%. Public debt to GDP in US dollar terms also declines to about 46.5% from a level above 60%. And it's also now well below the sub-Saharan average of 61%. Madam Speaker, ma'am, in 2013, the debt to GDP ratio average for Africa was of the order of 30%, but now it is 61%. And I'm pleased to say Zimbabwe is much better at about 46.5% as of end of 2024. In terms of sectoral contribution, the structure of the economy is now dominated by the manufacturing sector at 15.3%, mining and quarrying at 14.5%, wholesale and retail trade at 11.9%, financial and insurance services at 10.8%, and the agricultural sector at 9.3%. Here I'm just highlighting the top 5 sectors in our new GDP structure. I've compared that table. We compare the new structure compared to the old sectoral contribution. And it's pleasing to see that sectors that are value-adding, such as manufacturing, are now contributing above mere retail, the retail sector, which was the biggest before. Madam Speaker, ma'am, now I turn to the domestic economic developments during the first half of 2025. Given the positive economic development during the period January to June, we are confident that the projected economic growth of 6% alluded to in 2025's national budget is achievable. And again on that screen, Madam Speaker, we show the final figure at the bottom of 6%, but then also show the various sectors that contribute to that growth. Notice that the bulk of this growth is really coming from recovery in the agricultural sector, which has recovered from a growth rate of minus 18.1% in 2024, and this year it should be up to positive 21.5%. Of course, the other sectors are all showing positive growth, but that's the sector that is contributing the most due to its spectacular recovery this year. All sectors of the economy are expected to record positive growth in 2025, mainly on account of a favorable agriculture season, improved electricity generation, stable exchange rate and inflation. This is notwithstanding declining international mineral commodity prices and a